Let's talk about COVID. And we were talking a bit before we started the recording. You've got people that are spending, not all people, but a lot of people who are spending a lot of time. They've got time on their hands. How can they best take advantage of this? And what are the challenges that they might come up against in learning something new?
Yeah. It is true. There are plenty of people now, not all, it's a subset, but there are people who've got a lot of time on their hands. They can, for at least a while, can afford to take some leisure time and do some things that they never had the time to do before. And so we see a lot of people deciding they're going to learn a language or learn a skill of one kind or another. And based on all of the principles of deliberate practice, how we go about that is, in a sense, pretty simple. At least it's pretty simple in concept. When one has identified the skill that one wants to learn, what you need is, in almost all cases, some kind of mentor, coach, teacher. And the reason you need that is what we said earlier. This is a question of practice activities being defined, being designed just for you with the abilities you currently have at the current stage of your development. And for most of us, it takes somebody else, it takes an outside observer to figure, who is a master of the skill we're trying to learn. It takes an outside observer to figure out what we can do. We tend to be poor observers, honest observers of ourselves. I think we all know that. And so we need someone else to look at us who can figure out what stage we're at, what therefore is the appropriate practice activity for us, and then to give us that all-important feedback that we were talking about before. So in a way, the most important thing, well, not just in a way, the most important thing for starters is to find some kind of teacher or mentor or coach. In some cases, you can at least start without a human being, because you can take little tests of one kind or another depending on the activity, and gauge where you stand, and then start to make progress on your own. Another key, as we said, is constantly being pushed just beyond where you are now. Constantly pushed to do things you can't quite do. And that's not really fun. Early in the session here, Marcus made a point, in passing, that is so important. He said most of skateboarding is failing. And that is so true of almost everything. Because think about it. If you are constantly being pushed to do things you can't quite do, well, then you're going to fail most of the time that you try to do them. I did some calculations about an Olympic figure skater, gold medalist Olympic figure skater. And there's research on figure skaters, as there is on practically everybody, saying that the great figure skaters spend most of their time on moves that they can't quite do. Mediocre figure skaters spend most of their time doing things they already know how to do pretty well. And so the great ones are the ones who end up landing on their behind on cold, hard ice most of the time. It's failing, and it's not a lot of fun. So we tend to avoid it. We need somebody to push us, to make us do that, because that's the only way we get better.